After 21 weeks of action, the stage is set for Santa Clara. It's a rematch for the ages. Seattle, New England, no one expected them to be here, and yet, here they are. Why? Because they find ways to win, and we're talking about it. Chalk and Chat starts right now.
From Las Vegas, this is Chalk and Chat, sponsored by Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas.
Welcome into Chalk and Chat. I'm Mariah Janos. As you can imagine, I'm pretty giddy about the big game matchup, and I am going to do my best not to take offense to anything my counterparts say over the course of the next 30 minutes, but let me introduce you to them. They are Vegas handicapping legends. He's been giving out picks in this town since the 90s, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. It's Teddy Covers with the flashy jacket. He's ready to roll. You know, you got some winning picks coming with that jacket. And next to him, it's Mr. Superbook himself, sports betting Hall of Famer, Jay Kornegay. He's even got a bobblehead, too. That's a pretty big deal. Coming up on today's show, two teams left standing, but how did they get here? We're taking a look back at New England and Seattle's roads to Santa Clara. Plus, Teddy is breaking down some big game historical trends, why you may want to look to the dog in this one. And we're putting Jay on the hot seat with a little Q&A, topped off by Best Bets. The guy's got some props to dish out, but as I mentioned off the top of the show, you guys, two teams no one expected to be in this situation. And it wasn't week 10. We weren't even talking about these two teams. I remember maybe a little past midway through the season, the Superbook started writing more futures on Seattle, but they weren't really talked about much either. Kind of the silent assassin out of these two teams.
No, when you talk about a rarity, I mean, this is a rare scenario in which both teams, you could have gotten them 40 to 1, 60 to 1, and that doesn't happen for a whole lot of big games. Sometimes you see one surprise team, but to see two surprise teams not just have the regular season success, but also the postseason success, that's pretty rare, Jay.
It's very rare, especially over the last few years. We've seen a lot of Kansas City, seen a lot of Philadelphia up there, San Francisco, a lot of chalk over the last few years. But this year is totally different with surprise teams, and it's created a lot of excitement in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I'm pumped up, but Teddy, let's kind of go over how these teams got here, starting with New England, and they're coming off that win over Denver. I apologize, Jay.
I don't know why you need to apologize. Denver covered.
Yes.
You know? I mean, that's what mattered, right? So we only get to play one more game, but if you had Denver plus the points, like we did on this show last week, it's all nothing but smiles.
They did get the money. I will say that. But still, as a fan, it's a little disappointing to see your team go down that way.
Not when you make money with them. What's the Westgate? Good teams win, great teams cover.
I got koozies in my apartment with the slogans on them from the Westgate. They really come in handy. So a nice touch there, Jay.
But certainly the weather was a huge deal in that game. The third straight game for New England where weather was a factor. It was a game where both kickers missed multiple field goal attempts, which matters a lot when we talk about what Seattle special teams have been. And it was a game where Drake May didn't need to pass. Only 2 passing first downs for New England the entire game. That New England defense has now forced 9 turnovers in 3 playoff games. If they're going to win a 4th, winning the turnover battle would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I think the difference was Drake May. I think he had 65 yards rushing, and they were key moments. They were 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversion. I heard that the last one, where he got the first down, he didn't even tell his teammates that he was keeping it. He did it on his own. The big difference between May and Stidham, but you got to give them credit because they keep doing it, and they've been doing it all year. Good for New England.
Yeah. Now over to the NFC, Seattle, LA. LA going down, huge for Vegas Sportsbook, specifically the Superbook. I know they were sweating that one out a little bit down the stretch there, so they're happy with the results of that game. But let's talk about how Seattle got into this situation.
Sure. Lots of liability for the big game. If LA would have won a championship, that would have been bad news for guys in Jay's profession.
Yes.
But, I mean, with Seattle, LA, in my mind, the muff punt was the difference in the game. 1 turnover on special teams. That was the difference. And Seattle, number 1 ranked special teams. We look at the advanced metrics as kicking and punting and returns. That's since week 10. And then week 10 was when they got Raheed Shaheed from New Orleans, who has been a dynamite return man for them. But yesterday was, last weekend, I should say, was a muff punt. Made all the difference. And let's give Sam Darnold credit where credit's due. 346 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And when Seattle had to burn clock at the end of the game, they put the ball in Darnold's hands. 5 times in those last 11 plays when Seattle was just trying to burn clock. They threw the football. That's a scenario where most teams hand the ball off 3 times and punt. And, of course, that Seattle defense now 27 consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. That defense, more than any other reason, Jay, is why they're here.
Well, those are really impressive stats.
Yeah.
Talk about that 100-yard rusher, 27 games. That's incredible. But going through the season and looking back at it now, it was about 2/3 through the season when we started looking and focusing on Seattle and LA. It seemed like those were the 2 teams that were not clearly the best, but most likely the best. And no offense to New England and Denver, but these 2 teams just looked the part. Now, they had to fight it out. Good for them. But Sam Darnold, again, was the difference. I can't believe they put the ball into his hands, and he came through. So good for Seattle, good for their coaches, because Sam Darnold did come through for them. It's going to create it's already created a lot of interest in this game with these 2 teams being in the big game.
Yeah, it's such an incredible storyline. I mean, you just think back to Sam Darnold's days of seeing ghosts. It's just a completely different guy out there. So great to see his success. All right, we're just getting started here on Chalk and Chat. Coming up, we're taking a trip down to the Superbook at the Westgate to get some big game predictions from the patrons.
You're watching Chalk and Chat, sponsored by Superbook at Westgate, Las Vegas.
All right, we're here at the Superbook at the Westgate, and it's a big night here. They just unveiled all of their prop bets for the big game, so that means all the sharps are here, all the wise guys. So I thought, what better time than right here, right now, to go around and ask these guys their predictions for the big game. Seattle or New England?
I like really Seattle. New England.
Seattle.
Seattle.
New England, I think, with the points.
New England, unfortunately.
Seattle.
Seattle.
We'll go with New England. I know most people are going with Seattle. It's not New England's fault who they played. You can only play who's in front of you. They're the best team so far out of these 2.
Say it louder.
And I don't trust Sam Darnold, so give me Drake May and the Patriots.
Give him that. Thank you. God bless. My guy right there. That's my dog right there. Yeah, no, he knows what's up. I was surprised. I was really preparing to hear only Seattle. I thought it was going to be a little bit more one-sided, so it made me feel a little bit better that I had some New Englands in the mix there. But let's get into this game and the historical trends that we've seen for the big game over the years, Teddy, and kind of how that applies to next Sunday's bout.
Sure, but when we talk about what we just saw on video with all the two-way action, where some people like New England, some people like Seattle, that's what happens when you go to a wise guy party.
Yeah.
And you're going to get likely.
Which made me feel even better, right? I'm like, these guys do this for a living. Some are saying New England. I feel a little bit better.
There's hope.
Yes.
Well, there's hope if you like New England when you talk about the historical trends for the big game. Why? Because dogs have been cashing, not once, not twice, consistently, basically, for the last 25 years. The last 18 big games, underdogs 14-4 against the spread. The last 24 big games, underdogs 18-6 against. Actually, there's 25 big games because there was one that was pick'em, but it's 18-6 ATS. The last 24 games where there was a favorite. So the dogs have been cashing. 3 of the last 4 big games have been decided by exactly 3 points. And of course, it's okay to back dogs on the money line, not just to cover the number. The straight-up winner, 59 previous big games, the straight-up winner has covered 50 of those point spreads, 7 losses, 2 pushes. And, of course, we talk about 58 big games with the posted total. I think it was the first year there was no total on the big game. Ever since, pretty even. 29 overs, 27 unders, 2 pushes. Not much when you took historical trends, over or unders. Jay?
Well, historically, this game is the one event that the public money rules. When we set lines throughout the entire year, it doesn't matter what sports we're talking about. Usually, it's geared towards what the sharps think. A lot of the numbers that we make for all these different props and for the big game itself is geared toward what the public thinks because their money dominates everything. When it comes down to it, We're going to have what scenario is needed, Teddy? It's the favorite to win, but not cover. So if let's say Seattle wins between 1 and 4 points, I'm sure that's going to be the best result for us.
Now, another major thing that comes with the big game, prop bets. It's synonymous with the big game at this point, especially when you're talking about betting here. As I mentioned, in that package right there, all of the props have been unveiled at the Superbook. It's a long-standing tradition. Everyone was in attendance. See, Teddy's got the
Look at the
fat packet right there of all of the prop options. Let's talk about those a little bit, Jay, and you talk a little bit about the public handle and the movement there. What about it when it comes to these props?
Well, first of all, this is recycled paper.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I don't
Go
wanna,
green.
I don't want to hear it. But props rule this event, and it's up to almost 75% of all the action that we take on this game will be on the propositions. A typical customer that will come in, he'll make one bet on the game itself, but then make 5 or 6 prop wagers. That's how popular they have become. And our guys just got through this last night. We have about 25 pages. We have over 500 different propositions. But believe me, if you don't have an opinion on a game, you're not a Seattle fan or a New England fan, you look through this, you're going to find something to wager on. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of people do have fun, and I recommend, just nothing's a for sure thing. So make sure you just have fun with it and relax. And there's wagers in here that will last throughout the entire game. And believe me, people have prop parties.
Yeah.
Because they are so popular and they're so much fun.
And keep you dialed in for sure.
Yeah. By the way, 53 pages in this packet.
Okay.
Not 25.
53.
Yeah. 53.
Well, 25 back, yeah, front and back.
Front.
Yeah, back and front.
And again,
Front
all
and back.
recycled. So that's really what matters.
But it's a reason it's a good excuse to get down to the Westgate and pick one of these up and spend some time with it. Obviously, the big game's not till next Sunday. We're talking about it this Sunday. But when you talk about a general props approach, you're looking for anything mispriced. Honestly, there's not much mispriced, but that's what wise guys covet, finding something that's priced wrong. And obviously, the biggest difference between what pros and Joes, pros willing to risk a lot to win a little. Joes only want to risk a little. They're always looking for the long shot scores. But Jay, you nailed it. It's fine to have fun, enjoy the action. It's not fine to blow your home bankroll. So what do? Keep your unit sizes small when it comes to big game prop wagers.
And those props, those lines are going to be fluctuating a bit with the money that's coming in. So if you like something that you see, jump on it because it may not be available a day later. All right, still to come on Chalk and Chat. Jack may not be in studio, but he's still making an appearance with our annual Pro Bowl skills competition. It's pathetic, yet awesome. Stick around.
You're watching Chalk and Chat, sponsored by Superbook in Westgate, Las Vegas.
So it's Pro Bowl weekend here on the show, and if we've learned anything about the Pro Bowl, it's that you've got to have a skill set that has literally nothing to do with football.
This is our big game, essentially, and you still have ketchup on your chin.
Happy Meals are hard. They die hard, but yeah, we're going to get after it, clean up, wipe down, and give you some skill sets.
Let's go.
So the first thing we're going to work on is attacking the quarterback when he's getting ready to pass, but not touching the quarterback. This is going to be our version of the Oklahoma drill. Pro Bowl edition is actually the Arkansas drill because it's a little lazier than the actual Oklahoma drill. You ready?
Born ready.
Take this.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to get up,
Yeah.
and then you're going to run for a touchdown that way. I'm going to be the defender. Down set hike. On hike, we're getting up and going.
Ugh.
It's wet. Oh my God! I laid in dog crap. I laid in dog crap. Time out! I laid in dog crap.
Okay.
This is comfortable.
Yeah.
Let's just lay here for a little bit. Say hike. Get up, come back. So in an effort to make the Pro Bowl more competitive and more of a sport, they've instituted what everybody loves, flags.
This is our flag technology here on this.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to be able to see, so we've got striped flag. Psych!
Look at that. Yep. Best part of every year is that skills competition. 2 idiots in a park, hoping the cops don't get called. Yep. So that was nice. Now we're gonna do a really seamless transition to Q&A with Jay and the.
Hey, hey, what do you say? Time for Q&A with Jay Kornegay.
A double whammy of idiocy, just back to back. There's never enough. The limit does not exist. Okay, let's get into it, Jay.
What a run.
We got little Jay, bobblehead Jay here. Pretty big deal that you have a bobblehead, first of all. Look at this. And it just added to the resume here. But let's start out with Teddy. I know that you have many questions. I'm going to let you take the lead on this because these two go way back, and I know that it's going to get personal here. So, Teddy.
Well, I remember the first time I ever shook your hand. It was on. It was my first big game in Vegas, Denver, Atlanta. I watched at the Imperial Palace. That was your old stopping grounds, and I got my first prop packet there, and that was the day I shook your hand. You don't remember me, but I remember you.
Oh, I remember it.
That said, we talk about props. I mean, Jimmy Vaccaro takes credit for inventing props. Refrigerator Perry. Now, there's a true or false question, but it's not really. Art Man Terrace takes credit for props. There's lots of guys who take credit for inventing props. When did you and your crew at IP pick up and expand that idea?
Well, Teddy, it was about 1990 when we started going through these games, and all these games were blowouts. They were boring. And everybody was wondering what to do in the second half because there was nothing to do.
Snooze.
So we came up with an idea to make propositions that wouldn't be decided until the second half. And so with that said, we just started coming up with a lot more different propositions that you now see as on a regular basis. They have become standard propositions all across the country. Yeah. Most of those have originated from the old Imperial Palace. Sure. And so we came up with those, and the menu at a typical book was probably about 20 or 30 different propositions. You know, we started posting 50, 60 propositions, and they were a huge hit. Everybody was coming in, grabbing these packets. And by the time we got to 1995, when it was San Diego in the game against that great San Francisco team, the spread was like 18.5 to 20, depending when you talk about it. But it was very obvious who was going to win that game. So we came up with a couple hundred different propositions, and it just blew the roof right off the building because everybody wanted a part of it. We captured a lot of attention, not just from the local media, but national media, and from guests all across the Strip would come to the Imperial Palace to bet these propositions. And here we are today. We're over 500, and the only thing that limits us today is the time. We could continue, but we just run out of time. We got to get them up on the board and start taking wagers.
Now, at a time like that, obviously you got it down pat at this point, but pricing, how do you come up with that back then? Was it similar as the way you're setting lines for, sides and totals? Yeah,
we get a group of our guys in a room, and we used to be over at a friend's house or one of our houses, and we would have pizza and some other beverages. Yes, some other. And we would just all make lines for a certain, we come, we'd discuss it, and we move on to the next one. And that process still remains the same. Now, Teddy mentioned something about mispriced prices on some of these props. I wouldn't say misprice. I would just say there's a difference of opinion between our group and some of the sharpest guys. And we really value Teddy and others that come and bet these things on the first day because they're very sharp. They've done very well over the years. So we will move them aggressively.
Yep.
And then they kind of settle in by the time we get to the big weekend.
Right.
That's when the public starts betting it, and that's when the public money takes over.
Yep.
And so all those earlier bets will just be washed away by the general public betting on these propositions because, as I mentioned earlier to you, about 75% of all bets now are on propositions.
All right. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for Q&A with Jay. I know, guys, time flies when you're having fun. I don't know what you want me to do. We'll get some more pizza and beer, though, and get back to that tradition. Finally, on Chalk and Chat, though, no games to bet on this week, but as we've been mentioning, props have been released. There are plenty to choose from, so we got some best bets surrounding props after the break.
You're watching Chalk and Chat, sponsored by Superbook in Westgate, Las Vegas.
Okay, it's time for best bets. Little Jay, take it away.
Oh, boy.
What is your prop that you are eyeing?
The height of that thing? I'm going to go over.
No, literally, yeah.
My friends would say life size. But
Oh.
anyway, let's go to the game. My best bet of the game is going to be someone that I was really impressed with last game in the NFC Championship game, Sam Darnold. I'm going over 229 yards passing. I think he continues that. I think both teams will have some success on the offensive side of the ball, but I'm going to take Sam Darnold over 229.
Wow, all right, Teddy.
Trusting Sam Darnold. Huh. I'm not trusting
Wild
anyone
move.
with my prop bet. And this is one you can ladder it. So you make several different wagers. I like no score first 5.5 minutes, no score first 6.5 minutes, no score first 7.5 minutes.
Wow.
You can take New England to punt before they score. You can take Seattle to punt before they score. Bottom line, we expect a conservative start. We expect a low-scoring first quarter.
Wow, goose eggs in the first quarter. I kind of like it. I see that happening. That would bode well for me and my feelings. So I'll look into that one. Maybe I'll take you up on that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Jay, it was great to have you in here. Teddy, you're always here. But it's still a pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning into Chalk and Chat. You guys enjoyed this week off, and then we got the big game right around the corner.